broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome to Homeland Hero Salute Podcast with your hosts Doug Macedo and Tim Chambers.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode. I'm your host Doug, and today we've got two special guests with us. Well, technically we have three special guests with us today. And so I want to introduce, we've got Mike Chase and we have Kim with the Honor Bear project. And so we want to, and then we have the Honor Bear as well. So we need to definitely introduce you guys and bring you on. And I was talking to you guys, I was talking to you, Mike, for just over a year. And I'm like, oh, I got to get you on the podcast. And so here we are today, and 2025, and it's good to finally get you guys on, because I know you guys are very busy.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. And I'll let Kim, I'll let you take it over, introduce yourself and the bear, and let's get it going.
Well, my name is Kim Hebert, and I started carrying this guy here. This is the Honor Bear. This guy. I started carrying him in 2016. And the reason I started carrying him is to honor and remember all of our fallen military and first responders. And my goal was to educate people that it doesn't matter how they passed or when they passed. They all deserve to be honored the same way with their folded flag over their remains. And unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. People that take their own lives through suicide, they're not honored the same way. So we're trying to educate people that it doesn't matter. I don't care if a veteran died of old age, if they died of suicide, if they were killed in action. My whole theory is they all deserve to be honored exactly the same way. And we honor first responders the same way also. So this guy here, I started carrying. He started out kind of just as your ordinary looking teddy bear. But since 2016, everything that's on him has been given to me by somebody to honor somebody who's either serving, past. It could be somebody just wanted to put something on from their unit. So we're watching over protecting their unit. When I went to Disney, cast members from Epcot and Animal Kingdom took off the Disney pins. They put them on here so we can watch over all of the active service members. But we have pins, we have all kinds of things on here that have pictures of all of our fallen heroes. One of the reasons I started doing this is in 2010, a friend of mine, he lost his son, PFC Eric Currier. So that was one of the reasons that we started doing this. But I've had friends in the military forever. So that was kind of the idea with starting him. On his flags that are behind him, there's names of fallen heroes on here because we don't always carry pen and paper with us. So we add names as we come along. As we meet people, we add the names, and then I'll go home and I'll start searching out who those people are, how they passed, and I'll research them, and it feels like I end up knowing these people.
Yeah.
So that's how we get names added to the bear.
Wow.
Some of the things that we do now, since then, that's kind of how we started out, and then we started attending funerals for unattended veterans, people who they had no family, so we would show up. Then we started doing flag displays for suicide awareness, and then we became a nonprofit in 2021. So what started out as just carrying a teddy bear to spread some awareness to people and to educate people has now grown into a nonprofit, and we've been doing so many different things since then. So we now just educate people about our fallen. We now do educate for suicide awareness, and now we have a full board, and now we also do fishing trips with my friend Mike Chase. He coordinated all of that. So we'll let Mike explain a little bit more about what we do with the fishing trips.
So in 2000, I gotta get it right, 2018, I was fortunate enough to go on a six-pack with a veteran organization group who happened to be Ray Parkhurst, and his relationship with Eric Currier was that his daughter was married to Eric Currier, so it was a family thing. And then after I got out there, I realized what he was doing was he'd take the six-pack of veterans out deep sea fishing, and we get out to sea, and then everybody was, you don't have to worry about nothing. Your veterans talking to veterans, and you get to have a conversation with no ridicule, no downward talking or anything like that. And I considered it networking. When I was out there, I got to listen to these guys talk story about what they did while they were serving. I got to talk about my 20-year service. And then we were able to communicate back and forth. And then I got with Ray, and I was like, Ray, how many veterans can you get? Because I've been an avid fisherman for my entire life, and being down in Virginia, I learned how to do big head boats. And I was like, I want to improve this. I want to help raise the money. I want to get you guys out there. I want to get more people, so more networking. So since the 2018, I did my six pack. 2019, I started taking out veterans. We started out small because we didn't know how I was going to raise the money and get everything put together. But the first year we took out 25 veterans. Year after that, I did 50, and then I really went whole hog after that, because now I'm taking 350 veterans a year out deep sea fishing, and that comes out to 6 trips. And we use the head boats out of Hampton. Um, the thing about it is that the only thing the veteran has to do is show up to the pier. I bring them homemade food. I bring them a grinder from a foot-long grinder. I make homemade chili, which is all wild game that gets donated to me. And then I make desserts, which are chocolate chip cookies, brownies, and I bring chips and water and all that stuff. And realistically, the only thing they got to do is bring a small cooler. They come down, they go fishing, and you may have 20, 50 people on board. You may know one or two of them because some guys get together as a small group and come out. But in the end, everybody's talking to everybody, everybody's razzing everybody, everybody's having a good time. Um, I have seen guys that were amputees that came out deep sea fishing with me, and they'd be sitting right next to the guys that are fully functioning, and next thing you know, it's like, hey, they're catching fish just as well as everybody else. Yeah, we had to help them a little bit, but that's what we do. Or you have the guys that are shelled up, where it means that they don't know how to openly express themselves, and they don't know how to communicate with civilian people. But you don't have to talk about what their problem is. You don't have to talk about everything else. It's that communication thing. It's the ability for us to communicate with one another, as a military person, and our lingo goes back and forth, and it's a whole lot easier to talk to somebody that's been in the military. They may not be in your service, because it doesn't matter what branch of service you serve in. I take everybody, or in first responders, but that brotherhood, the sisterhood that we have that's out there, it allows us to communicate. And you could say, hey, I have this problem, and somebody's like, hey, I had that problem. This is how I got around to it. Or while we're out there and we start talking about VA assisting us, or we talk about, hey, I'm having issues with this, and somebody's like, hey, I had that issue, and this is who I went and saw. And it's networking. It's the ability for people to talk, not be. I don't want to say be put down. Hey, you got a problem. Why are you out here doing this? Those are the people I want out there. They're the ones that need that break.
Yeah.
We've had some guys that came from Alabama. I've had some guys that come from New York. It doesn't matter where they come from, as long as they're coming, they can get to the pier. They go out to deep sea fishing. We go out for a full day. We have a great time. Hopefully we catch fish. Sometimes we don't, but it's the camaraderie and the ability for us to get out there and network with one another, so that you can have that freedom to speak your mind. And some people just need to vent off steam. I mean,
Yeah.
PTSD or any other disease that you can think of that we all have as military members, or being cooped up inside, or depression or anxiety, or the turmoils that we have that go through our body on an everyday basis. When you're out to sea, there's only two things you got to be concerned with. Wait, it's a jerk of a rod. Wait, and then you catch a fish, and then you see these guys, maybe they've never been fishing before. I've had some guys that had never even held a rod or ever had the ability to go deep sea fishing, and we take those guys out and we find a guy that's been deep sea fishing. We kind of put him beside him. I walk around the boat as much as I can. I fish because I'm trying to get enough fish on the boat, so those that don't catch, I can give my fish away to those guys, so everybody gets to go home with some sort of fish. They can say, hey, we went out deep sea fishing, and I brought home food for the table.
Yeah.
And for some of those guys, I didn't realize what the food meant. Some people have never had wild game chili, or some people have never had homemade desserts, or they've had it, or they just can't afford to go do those things, and they can't afford that stuff. And I try and feed them the best I can, to make sure that they have everything they can possibly think of. And it costs $5 to park your car, and everything else gets paid for. If you want to come out deep sea fishing, look up the Honor Bear Project, look up my name on there. Send me an email. I take everybody, as long as you're a veteran, first responder. And one thing that we do talk about is, when we talk about first responders, that's fire, police, dispatch, correction officers, and there's one other one. Who's the other one, Kim? I forgot who the other one is.
EMT.
EMTs. So I mean, it's that if you're a service to the community, we will take you out deep sea fishing. I feel like you may not have signed the dotted line like all of us that did the stuff, but you're the one that has to run into the bad stuff when everybody else is running away. It's one of those things. And and the main reason I do these trips is to be able to look a veteran in the eye and say, thank you for your service. I don't think enough people get told that, thank you for your service, thank you for your sacrifice. I don't think that people still, even today, with all the news network, Facebook, Twitters, and everything, I don't think the people really understand when a veteran goes in and they give their oath, they sign a blank check with their name, and it's free of charge. That's what we do. We sign our life away. We give it to the military. And then, if you stay in for 4 years, you stay in whatever, you serve a day and you put that on there, you could be, something could happen and you could be gone in that first day. But you went and did your oath, you signed your name, and you said, hey, this is what I'm doing.
That's right. Okay.
And it's a blank check. And we don't see the parades. We don't see all this stuff that, hey, we don't have, fortunately, all of our Cold Wars that we're in right now, they come and go. Yes, there's bands and stuff when the groups come back, but those individuals that come back by themselves or whatever, they don't get any praise or anything.
Yeah.
Um, I find it very hard when I walk down the road and I see a veteran not to say thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in my military stuff and sometimes I'm not. If I'm out fishing, everybody knows who I am because I'm the brightest kid on the boat because my neon green shows it, and then even my rain suit's neon green. So, and I usually wear my coveralls anyways because I don't need to get all the fish stuff all over me, and I'm walking around and taking care of knots and whatever else and helping people get the fish off. But Doug, I mean, you've talked about it before. It's that networking piece that we have to encourage people to do to open up. And I had one guy. He came in, and he was in depression. He was suicidal, and his fiance at the time asked if she could go along with us, and I was like, sure, I got room. It's not that big a deal. And within 25 minutes after him getting on the boat, we got away from the dock, and they were sitting there all huddled on the outside, just sitting there chatting between the two of them. I walked up and said, hey, what's going on? Have you ever fished before? This and that, just nonchalantly just trying to break them free. And come to find out, it was like taking a sledgehammer to his iceberg that he had built around him, and it broke the walls. And once you break that wall and you get people to open up and to be able to talk and discuss their problems, you don't need to know the nuts and bolts of it. You just need to say, okay, you're talking now. So if you're talking, you're gonna fix yourself, because it's going to open you up. It's going to allow you to, hey, I can go express this to somebody. It may be a counselor, it may be a friend, or maybe somebody else. It's one of those things that we have to, as veterans, is watch out for our brothers and sisters. I tell everybody at my work, I mean, there's a lot of them that are not military that work for me, that work in my building. And I was like, I will tell you right now, you all have my cell phone number. If you need a ride, you call me. I'd rather have that phone call in the middle of the night than the other one, because it's your life is too important to me. So
absolutely.
And just to reiterate, we all get affected by suicide. One of the main reasons why I like what Kim does is we put out suicide flag displays. I mean, we do them all around New Hampshire. We've done them in Maine. We've done them and we've been all the way out to, what is it, Colorado, Kim?
And out to, our furthest was, we went to Fort Collins, Colorado, to the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, and put it right at the entrance to their brewery. So what was nice there is, because of the main road that it was on, every time people went to the VA, you had to drive by that road. So everybody saw it. All the trucks coming in and out of the brewery. It was all the 18-wheelers coming out of that brewery. Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
So when we talk about our flag displays, they're not small ones. We put in 660 American 11x15 flags for the 22-a-day veterans that commit suicide. On the back side, we have a single flag that's for the suicide for the active duty sailors, which is, I think the number's 22. Then
for the
active
duty, we lose 1.5 a day, average is 40 a month. And then we put 3x5 flags up for the first responders. We lose on average 120 a month.
And in the background,
5 a day.
In the background and behind everything is all the branches of service, and we've actually added the Space War flag now. And in the middle of that is where the American flag goes. So, and then we have big 3x5 and 3x7 banners that have the suicide awareness, numbers and websites and this and that. And, we try and make it a big deal, and it's lit up at nighttime so you can see it day or night. And it's to get that word out to everybody that, there are people out here that want to help you, that we need you around.
The idea of why you do it with flags is because what I tell people is, when you look at the display once it's done, look at the flags. Everybody stops because they see flags, because flags are beautiful. They see a big display. Then I tell them, stop and look at those flags again. Each one of those flags represents a veteran that in 30 days will no longer be here.
Yeah.
So, we strategically place all of the banners so that as people stop and take their pictures, the banners are caught in all your pictures. So as you post it to all of your social media, all of these displays and the pictures, it's helping to spread the word and all that information, all of the hotline numbers, so that gets spread around. More people see it, and if those displays, if that helps, stops one person, and it saves one person, then that makes it worthwhile for everything that we do. If it can save one life.
Absolutely.
And we work with other groups. We work with the Matthew Patton Foundation, which is out of Rhode Island. They come up to just about every single one of our displays, and John and Lynn Patton, they lost their son Matthew to suicide. So they come up and they speak at just about every single one of our displays. They flew out with us. They went out to Colorado with us when we did that display. Our goal is eventually to put a display in all 50 states. We've covered pretty much all of New England. We've been to Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. We have one going in Connecticut this year. We've been in Mass. So, we've been a lot of places. We just got word that somebody wants one in Florida.
Nice.
And somebody else wants one in Ohio. The long distance ones, they're a little tough, but, we make it work.
Yeah. No,
If we can get businesses that sponsor us, that makes it even better.
Yep. No, and it does. It really does. Because it's the wonderful work that you're putting into it to put the word out regarding the veterans. It's absolutely amazing. And as Mike, you were saying, it's how you and I talked, and I've said it before. It's bridging the gap between this all and not just the organizations. It's also bridging the gap between the veterans and be able to supply them with the necessary tools for success in whichever endeavor that they take.
Right.
Absolutely. That's a good rule to have. Is I need to probably put that in my words. Is that the tools that we have that are out there, that nobody can know everything about everything, but when you put 50 guys together, that's a whole lot of tools you can have there, because somebody else could have had something similar and said, hey, this is what I did to fix that, or or anything that goes along those lines. Tools to make you feel better and maybe help you along the way.
Correct. And it's like I do this. I talk about it quite a bit, and let alone I do this podcast. I do two different podcasts. One is with Homeland Heroes Foundation, which is up out of New Hampshire, up out of Salem, New Hampshire, which is Julia Weymouth, who runs that one. I co-host that podcast, which the other co-host now is, as you guys may know, as Kim, you said, you're also part of the Rolling Thunder of New Hampshire. Tim Chambers. He's now.
I know Tim also.
He's now the co-host, and he's a good friend of mine, and he's a wonderful motivational speaker, individual, veteran himself, and it's again, he's another individual that will spread the word on a lot of stuff. I got off the phone with him just a little bit ago, and I was talking to him, and I'm like, hey, what's going on, Motivator? He's like, nothing on. what's going on with you, motivator? And that's how Tim is. But
We
you know,
invited Tim up. Tim actually was out to New Hampshire once with us. We invited him out, and he came out and stood in front of the Weirs Beach sign and saluted all of the bikes when we rode in for the Freedom Ride.
yeah,
Thursday bike week.
he's
Yeah.
gonna. I've been telling him even now last year. I said, if you and Lorraine, him and his wife, I said, if you guys need a place, I said I've got my downstairs. I said we're all set. I said you don't have to worry about anything. And his wife's amazing.
Yep.
I stole him the other week. I think 2 weeks ago. I stole him from her, and I took him to the races with me to Allentown, PA, and we did a dedication to a Marine Corps veteran that is passing away from cancer, and we honored Mike at the ceremony. He was gonna come, but wasn't up to it. Plus, they were going to get snow, and he didn't want his wife out driving. But we did honoring him, there at the event, and it was a good event, and it was all televised, but through pay-per-view racing. It's amazing work that he does, and it's as Mike and I talked and said, it's always bridging the gap and getting more tools for the veterans to be able to use at their ready, because as us veterans know, it's getting everything in the ready position to be able to function and do what we need to do to succeed in our missions.
Absolutely.
So the more the merrier. And not just one single person will have every answer that you need for it all. I wanted to get you guys on and talk about your guys' mission and talk about what you guys do and how you guys do it. And also to be able to talk to the honor bearer herself, it's amazing to have that, and to be able to travel with the bear, with the honor bear, and be able to get certain things. Like, again, not everybody has like a spare dog tag or an extra dog tag on the fly, or a pin, which is amazing. That then you have like the flags where they can write the information, and to honor those veterans. And that's absolutely amazing that you guys do that. I'm going to be posting down below, your guys' information, your guys' website, and then the platforms that you guys are on to find you guys, which I know you and me and Mike were friends on Facebook and everything.
Yep.
But is there? I can't remember. I believe there is an honor bear Facebook page.
We have a Facebook. We have a group page on Facebook, and we also have a website.
Perfect. And all those will be linked down below,
Okay.
and in the comments. But also, if our viewers are watching this, as they're watching this, if they're watching it, they are watching it, because the numbers don't tell a lie. It's like, it's a lot of, I say probably in the ballpark of 500 to 600 people on average.
Nice.
So it's I know they're watching. So with them seeing this, and I know I got some of them are business owners, because they are sponsors here with our nonprofit, and but we want to give them the opportunity, if they want to help, or even the viewers want to help and donate to you guys. Do you guys have a link? I'm not 100%. I don't remember if I saw it, but rather ask and then be wrong, or not be wrong. But do you guys have like a link on there where it says donate now for like PayPal or any of that, or even major credit cards?
We don't right now.
You don't.
We don't, but we do have on the website. It should have it listed where they can send it, where they can send a check to our PO box.
Okay.
And the Venmo queue should be on there, right?
The Venmo, yes.
Perfect. So we'll put those in there as well, and just so as you guys sit here and watch this, we want everybody to know and be able to help, support you guys and support the
We
mission.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. And support the mission that you guys are doing, and be able to keep continuing the wonderful work that you guys are doing. So, with that being said, I know we're getting close to the ending of this, but I wanted
So
to.
there's a couple quick things that I want to put out. I do have the fishing trip scheduled. So if you're interested on a fishing trip, it's going to be April 16th, May 14th, and then I'm going to have 2 trips for stripers in July. I just don't have those dates yet because we're trying to figure out how to manipulate that schedule. But
Okay.
then June 11th, if you're a female veteran, look up glamping veterans. It's going to be we're trying to do an all-female trip on June 11th, just to get the girls out there because sometimes they just want to have their own little piece of the pie and still say thank you. So, but I
Absolutely.
do work with multiple different organizations to get the veterans there for the 50 that we take out. And as of last year, we had 960 veterans we've taken out in the last 5 years. So I'm trying to keep that number going. And if we add another 350, we'll be over almost 1,200 veterans this year. So that's the goal.
Wow.
So we'll see how it works.
Wow, that is a lot of people, of veterans that you've helped out,
Yep.
and first responders. Because again, I want to touch on that subject real quick because, as you say that they do it here at home and put themselves on that line as everybody else is getting away from that situation.
Right.
They're definitely, without signing on a dotted line and taking the oath to defend this country in a MEP station, they're doing it here. I know at least the police and stuff are taking an oath to defend this country, the country and the Constitution, and they're doing it right here in their backyard.
Yeah.
They're putting themselves into those dangerous situations, and again, that's we want to say thank you to them. And just like the firefighters, they're running into a burning building, and putting their lives on the line for that. Even down to the first, the paramedics, on top of that, and the dispatchers who have to take the calls of the 911. And had to listen to situations and not know what the outcome was because they're not on scene. Mentally that's going to take a toll on someone. I don't know if I could hear my spouse talking on a recorded line and be like someone's after me, and know that someone had to listen to that, and that's not. It wouldn't sit. It really messed with my head.
Right.
So definitely gotta tell them thank you, and support them in any way.
And we also take the corrections officers too, because
Yes.
they're in the same situation.
Yeah, and the other ones have to deal with all the bad people.
Yeah.
that have been put there by their peers in prison, and they got to deal with all them. So
Yeah, and they're the ones behind these bars that geez, it's like you're actually locked up with these individuals, and again, it's innocent until proven guilty, but the ones that have the rap sheets and stuff, it's like you know what you did, and now you got to.
Yeah.
It's like you're putting yourself in with them.
Right.
Yep.
That's no. Thank you to them as well. It's very honoring to them, and a lot of those guys are also probably prior service, which I know a few of them myself that are correctional officers. One actually just came back from a deployment from Iraq. And he's there's another one that's I think he just came back, and he's a realtor too. So, it's crazy, I'll tell you.
Yep.
But I want to read this one thing, and this is what's on my email. Whenever I send out emails, it's at the bottom of my signature. Veterans, exactly how you guys touched on it right at the beginning, is a veteran, whether active duty, retired, or National Guard or reservist, is someone who, at one point in his or her life, wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount of up to including their lives.
Absolutely.
That's so true.
Which is
I've signed it.
I never served, and this is my way of giving back.
We, as Tim Chambers would say, we all do our part and serve our country one way or another. As what he always, without a doubt, is what he always tells. And he's even said it to my wife. He says, we all do our part. We serve one way or another somehow, and
And
it's the way you're doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. And being an active duty person, and when you come, I was on a submarine for 20 years and 15 years sea time and 5 years shore duty. But when I deploy, I leave the pier and I go in. I'm in my other function world, and when I'm gone, I don't know what's happened with the wife, the kids, or anything. And we put a lot of stress on the girls or vice versa. Girls or guys that are home to manage the household. Their job is never easy, and then we come home and we're home for a week or weekend, and then we mess it all up because we throw their whole schedule out of whack because we're home, and then it's like, oh yeah, well, we're back out again, so see you. Then those guys that are deployed, they get deployed and then they're gone for 6 months or 8 months or a year, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're away from their home and they don't get to see their babies. I mean, my son was born and I didn't even see him till he was 4 months old, so I was still on deployment at the time.
Yeah.
So that's why I have no troubles with anybody that doesn't serve, because it's not made for everybody, because not everybody can do what we do being a military member.
Yeah.
But you do serve because that means you're home either farming or you're taking care of something, you're doing something, you're a mechanic, but the ones that go and do the battles of protecting the civilians and protecting us and protecting our homeland, those are the ones that we want to tribute back to.
Absolutely, and that's it's absolutely so true, and amazing that that you put it that way. It's like I can't even put it any other way. But it's I had a prior guest on, who is a United States Marine Corps. He's with the Wounded Warriors project, but he's also a record label artist, and it's Sal. I believe it's Gonzalez is his name, and he wrote a song, and it was talking about being away and missing the first of everything, the first steps, the first words, the first birthday, the first day at school, the first whatever it was, we miss it as parents who are serving, could be serving the country, or even being a salesperson who has to travel, or who is a doctor or a nurse or firefighter, police. You're always on the go, and you're gonna miss those first, and it just depends on which ones it's gonna be. And no, it is, and that was a very touching song, and I'm glad that this time was we were able to meet up and finally get together, and as group and be able to get your guys' information out there. We're gonna have all absolutely, and we're gonna have all the information linked down below in the comments, pinned. We're gonna have those dates as well. We're gonna have those listed in there, places that they can locate the social media platform as well as the website. And if anybody that wants to make a donation, they're gonna have the link on there. And again, we really appreciate you guys coming on this evening and definitely sharing the honor bear with us. We can't wait to see this 2025 how this will go and get back on the water, because I know I'm excited. I want to go back out deep sea fishing already. Just sitting here talking.
A couple months away.
Talking about some fish, catching some cod, catching some gus, as they call it, the sea salami. I can't wait, and I'm excited. So until next time, we salute everybody. Thank you for your service to all the veterans out there, and thank you for what you guys do at the Honor Bear Project.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting Homeland Heroes Salute Podcast. Please make sure to like and follow Homeland Heroes on all of your social media outlets. Homeland Heroes Salute Podcast is a Foo Bar Studios Sinister